Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, E.T., Ren E, Shaka Nugu Kemet. Let me first check the sound as usual. E.T., Ren E. The sound is loud and clear, so it's beautiful. This video is entitled Asar Imhotep, Serial Plagiarizer, and in parentheses, is there due diligence in Pan-African scholarship? Question mark. I'm glad to see my good brother. We go way back. I actually did my first um, interview in America with our brother, Holipsism. And he wrote, "Don't get me started, fam." And that interview I did with him was on Blog Talk Radio. It was December 2009. See, before that, I did a radio, I'm sorry, a radio interview in England. I just forgot to record it before I went to the radio station. So um, it wasn't too long, and there was another person there. Um, so I'm not going to dwell on that. And I'm glad also because, like I told you all yesterday, I found out that Alex Jones had labeled Trayvon Martin's case as a hoax by listening to Holipsism. And you see, good brother Holip, the karma that Alex Jones received because he also labeled the Sandy Hook shooting, mass shooting, if I'm not mistaken, 20 children between 6 and 7 years old died, and 6 adults were staff members of the school died also. Alex Jones labeled that a hoax as well. Now, from what I read in different places, it appears that he went as far as saying that the parents were actors and that some green screen were used. So, for those that don't know, you can check out yesterday's video where, while most people were sleeping in America, the news came out that he was ordered to pay nearly $50 million. Holip wrote, yeah, he is in financial ruin now. And indeed, it is the first of 3 hearings, court hearings. He already declared one of his company as bankrupt or himself as bankrupt. So it's good to see Brother Holy. And I've seen some of your pictures. I've seen you've been in a few countries in Africa, trying to make things happen. And I'm happy because you talked about this before we actually talked about this on the phone about different ideas slash plans, and you manifested that. You're manifesting that. And there's so many other people who told me, okay, yeah, I'm down with Kemet. I'm Kemetic. I want to learn the meta nature. This is sacred language. This is the key. And 10 years later, they don't even know 10 Menu natural words. But it's all good. There's 2 things I want to say before I deal with the subject matter. The first one is I saw a video on TikTok. I don't even think I still have it up. I don't have it up. You had a heading that said, "This is why," I'm paraphrasing, "this is why we should not pray for non-Muslim relatives." And you have a young black guy who makes a recitation, so it's probably from the Quran. It's in Arabic. There's some English translation, and it starts by "it is not," and then you have "proper" in bracket. So "proper" is probably a word added to give clarity, because that happens a lot with the Quran. Now, Dr. Mushin Khan does that regularly, but in other translations, you might not necessarily have words in brackets or parentheses, which are words that don't appear in the text, but it's needed to add them to bring clarity, you know. So it is not proper for the prophet and the believers. And once again, I'm paraphrasing again. I just saw this video just before I did the live stream. To pray for forgiveness for the polytheists. So maybe it's mushrikun or something like that. But there's a slight dichotomy with the heading, which says, "This is why we should not pray for non-believers." And then we have polytheists. Somebody might be a non-believer, doesn't mean that he is a polytheist. So I don't know the passage of the Quran. And you know what? I might as well look it up. There's no rush. All right. So it appears that it is Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 113. Oh, they don't have Mushin Khan's translation there. So this one is Corpus. I like that website. Is it the one I was accustomed to? Mushin Khan. Do they have Mushin Khan? I like Mushin Khan. So translation. Aha. Now let's choose. They don't have Mushin Khan. For real? I don't know what happened. I thought that they had Mushin Khan's translation on that website. Okay, well, let's share it for the record. Let's share this for the record briefly. So the English translation says, "It is not for the prophet and those who have believed to ask forgiveness for the polytheist, even if they were relatives, after it has become clear to them that they are companions of hellfires. And you see underneath, it says, it is not, and then permissible is in parentheses, for the prophet and the believers to seek forgiveness for the, you see, mushriks. I was kind of close. Even if they are kinsmen, after it became clear to them that they are the people of hell. This one is Mufti Taki Usmani. Then we have Dr. Ghali's translation. In no way should the prophet and the ones who have believed ask forgiveness for the associators, in parentheses, those who associate others with Allah, even if they are near of kin, even after it has become evident to them that they will be the companion, i.e., inhabitants in hellfire. So even for relatives, it's not permissible to ask for forgiveness. The other thing I wanted to say before I deal with the main subject, on TikTok as well, I came across a video of a European, someone of European descent. Many times videos are re-uploaded, so it was not from his original account, because when I checked the account, we didn't have any other videos of the guy, but he was in front of the camera. He was not anonymous or unidentified. However, his name was not mentioned because I felt like replying to the dude, but I had no way of knowing who he was or how to reach his platform, because I didn't want to reach him, but just, I felt like making a reply. And to make the long story short, he talked about Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, and he made a lot of association with Diop's claims and many different Pan-African organizations. If I'm not mistaken, he labeled Diop as a racialist, uh, which seems strange to me because Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop was married to a woman of European descent, or a white woman. And it's funny to me when Europeans deal with different ethnicities around the world in the past, they are labeled anthropologists. But Dr. Sheikh Diop now is labeled a racialist. And of course, this individual stated that saying that the ancient Egyptians were black is false. And of course, he said the cliche, there was indeed some black Egyptian, a black dynasty, which is a 25th dynasty. They love to say that, the Nubian dynasty. Um, Herodotus, around 400 BC, stated in his book Histories that the Egyptians were black. That's 200 years after Kemet, or ancient Egypt, was conquered by the Assyrians. And it was during the late period, the rule of the Ptolemies, the Ptolemaic dynasties. Will they label Herodotus a racialist? Will they say that he was wrong, that he had bad eyesight? Dr. John Henry Clark said, and Dr. John Henry Clark was given a honorary doctorate degree, if I'm not mistaken, but anyway, at least give him, the father of history, the one who is labeled as a father of history, at least give him good eyesight. Now, Champollion also said that the ancient Egyptians were black when he described some artifact. It's funny they're not saying that Champollion was out of his mind, or that Champollion was Afrocentrist or Afrocentric, because they use these terms as negatives. Hey, Hotep Senet E.T. Our good sister RP is in the place to be. Glad to see you there as well. So really, I recommend people that you watch the video called Kemet and Ma'at Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I'm quite proud of this work, regardless of the few mistakes that may be found. Mistakes happens. Nobody's perfect. But I'm quite proud of this piece of work, which is about 45 minutes long. It was longer when I first brought it out, but then I reduced it. So the original title is Introduction to Kemet, the missing link in Black history, but now it is called Kemet and Ma'at Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And you have the link in the description of this video as well as other videos. Take 45 minutes of your time and just watch it, share it with your friends, with your colleagues, your family members, if you want to, but at least, give it a shot. If you appreciate my work, if you appreciate my videos, make sure that you watch that one. Okay, now we can get to the nitty gritty. Yesterday, I saw him all fake did a live stream on his YouTube channel, and he addressed Dr. Campbell's critique of a book released by two of his team members of the University of Amen. And on that University of Amen website, as we have demonstrated, I saw him all fake is introduced as a software developer. On the Happy Film website, he is introduced as a cultural theorist and Africana researcher. On those two websites, he is not introduced or labeled a linguist. One moment, please. Bear with me. I will be there in one moment. Okay, I'll be ready to start again. To take over from where we left off. I'm seeing a video. I haven't checked. Okay, I'll leave it there. They're gonna say I'm all over the place. Just 1 second. All right. So yesterday on his live stream, I saw him or fake, the one who said that rise a volcano and that Allah is in the Egyptian text and that there were Hebrews in Kemet and those Hebrews were black. Then he said they were not black. Then he said again that they were black. He doesn't have a single degree in linguistic, though he labeled himself a linguist. He said it for years. He made a critique of Dr. Obadele Campbell's critique of the book called The Origin of the Word Amen. When he started, he stated that he agreed with Campbell overall, that the linguistic part of the book, the origin of word, the origin of the word Amen, is just wrong. But he threw some shots, he threw some jabs. He said that Dr. Campbell is arrogant. Coming from Asar Imhotep, him or fake, is very amusing. He said that Dr. Campbell's critique is like a barbershop discussion where people go and talk smack. At one point, he used the term BS, bullsh. And he even made an analogy saying that Dr. Campbell's critique is like a woman venting about her day at work. So I'm like, all right, hey, freedom of speech. Hetty proceeded to say what Dr. Campbell, Dr. Campbell should have done. So Dr. Campbell, Dr. Obadele Campbell, is a PhD in linguistics. Actually, saw him or fake proceeded at one point to explain that PhD is not all that in linguistics. There's different kind of linguistics. He talked about the thesis. Said that in the thesis he basically analyzed only one language. He did not, make comparison with two languages. So those who are interested to listen to pseudo scholarship, you're free to go on Asar Imhotep's YouTube channel and listen for yourself. We have an amateur who proceeded to tell a doctor, a specialist, an expert how to do his job. It's like me reading books about medicine and then I'm going to critique a medical doctor and tell him how to do his job. Well, he should have done this. That's the way you do the work. He told his audience, this is how we do the work. Before he said that Dr. Theophilo Benga doesn't have a degree in linguistics, but then I showed the San Francisco University website. And now Asar Fake is like, well, he had some training in linguistics, he had some certificates. It's better to say certificates than degrees, doesn't it? Isn't it? Kwaku is asking, is there truly a continent named Europe? There is a territory called Europe. It is considered a continent, even though some people actually say it's not really a continent. But this world, that's what it is. Just like there's a continent named Africa. And some people say, well, white people naming that, you know what I'm saying? We have to call it Al Kebulan. So now, this is something that I touched on. I told you that there's a video detailing the plagiarism of Asar Imhotep. I'm thanking again my good brother. Sent in an email. Told him I can't find the video. Could have sworn it was on that channel. Would you know where I can find it? He replied, there it is. Thank you very much. So he wants to say who he is, he can. I don't want to say. Because sometimes I'm wondering, maybe Asar Imhotep is deep in street. Because so far he's been saying that all the scholars are wrong. He's giving points, and nobody seems to want to make the slightest criticism. So maybe it's those Greek fraternities, maybe it's Freemasonry, maybe I don't know. Maybe he's so deep in the street, he has some people shook. So I don't want people to have any problem. So we're gonna go through this plagiarism. Buckle up. The video was uploaded 2 years ago. I don't know why the date is not showing there. Oh, never mind. How well does it show? How to make it larger? I will not play the whole video. Of course, the whole video is 2 hours long. I'll play the part about the plagiarism. The video was uploaded on Sanada Studios channel. The title is Kunsu and Tim Osiris, Why Are Scholars Plagiarizing Books? And it has so far 10,987 views. Another 13 views and it will be 1,100 views. A lot of people know about this, but sometimes MCs act like they don't know. So I'm going to share the link right now. Imhotep plagiarism video on Saneta Studio. YouTube. Let's go. Let's discover. I've watched it a long time ago, so it's going to be like a rediscovery to me. As far as I was concerned, the community was informed. And now they act like, what? Who? When? How? So it looks like people need a reminder. Now, this is the person who's telling PhDs how to do the work. Since when plagiarism is work?
I don't know what's out there, but yeah, I can see it on my end.
All right. I believe this is the first slide here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first slide is blank. We're going to the next one.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, reading this book, we did research on this book like a couple of years back. Found a lot of interesting things about this book, and one of the things being plagiarism. So we're gonna jump right into it. Consul, if you can press the animation twice, I think.
Yes, sir.
The press two. All right, cool. All right, so it started out with these two pages right here, and it reads the Babylon and the folk etymology, and it reads. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences, right? And we are going to go to the source material, and I tell you where I found the source material at. All right. So the internal evidence of Genesis 11 suggests that this was not originally a sequel to Genesis 10. The second page, I'm just going to skip over just a little bit. Therefore, Babel could not have been so-called because God confused the tongues of man. The etymology given in the Bible is based on fancy and not fact. So reading this, how would one know if someone plagiarized something or not? One indication is there's no sources or anything in any of this. All right, that's one tip. Second of all, if you do suspect some plagiarism, what you can do is go Google a couple of sentences and see what you find. And that is exactly what I did. So console, you can press the animation, go on to the next slide, and we see where I got it from. All right, now this is a different book. All right, it reads, in this red box, the internal evidence suggests that Genesis 11, 1 through 9 was not originally a sequel to Genesis 10, but an independent story whose purpose was to provide a diatribe against Babel and Babylon. Press it one more time, Council. Matter of fact, just press it twice. Right. All right. So, okay. So we already seen that the internal evidence suggests is similar to what we saw in the Suit Beatty, the first book that I read. And we see the second page, the intention here, it suggests that there's an etymological relationship between Babel and Balal. So these are 3 pages from an entirely different book. All right, so press the animation console and we can see where this information comes from.
Hold on one second.
Side by side. Okay.
Hold on one second.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Because I can't. All right, so people, naturally will ask, how are they similar and why are they similar? One book on the left came out in August of 1983, and the second book, Nasut Bidi, came out February 5th, 2016, as you can see on the screen. So what are the possibilities that these 2 books will have the same sentences, same materials, or whatnot? Like, what are the chances of that? I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Consul? What are the chances that these 2 books, separated by 20, 30 years, say the exact same thing?
That would be really slim. You talking about 20, 30 years, you got dichotomies that change, you got information that changes.
Right. So press the animation. So what we did was, when I went to college, went to the University of Troy, we had to submit our work through a plagiarism checker. And the one that we used the most was Turnitin, TURNIT.com. And that's one of the best, most used plagiarism checkers. And there are others right here on the screen that anyone can use. Some of these plagiarism checkers that you do have to pay for, some you don't. But this helps and assists the human to determine why there's overlap between these 2 sources. So we use number 8, copy leaks, right? So what I did was I took the source material, which was the book from 1983, and I put it in the software with Nasut Bidi from 2016. And here are the results of what we found, right? Now, I don't know if everybody at home can see this, but what you see is on the left is the source material again, and on the right is the Nasut Bidi. So what this is saying, the red indicates that it is a word for word copy and paste. Let me repeat that. The red indicates that this is a word for word, Control C, Control V, copy and paste, right? The pink suggests that whoever copied the source tried to change a couple of words around to make it not look so obvious. And I think the yellow the yellow indicates that these are synonyms. So what you see is a clear-cut case of copy and paste scholarship from the Amon Ra squad. They go around, they critiquing everyone else's works, everyone else's books, oh, he's pseudo, don't mess with them, don't look this up, blah, blah, blah. And here, lo and behold, we have a clear-cut copy and paste. Consul, you want to add on anything before we move on to the next one?
Copy and paste scholarship. It's the first time I hear that. Please let me know that you can hear loud and clearly. Can you hear the video loud and clear? Can you hear my voice loud and clear? I don't want to find out after an hour of live streaming that people couldn't hear the video. Let's have some interaction. Yourselves haters too. People who come to catch me sleeping. One. Thank you, Senate. Let's continue.
Well, I want to make it abundantly clear that those who are like myself and Joshua, we went at a collegiate level to study and learn these things. This is common knowledge. But see, in the conscious community, the problem is education is frowned upon. So when a Black man, we look at people like Malcolm X, and those are geniuses. We look at John Henry Clark. These people weren't necessarily inclined in traditional education, but they had a gift, and they were called autodidacts. So now we have these new schoolers that are my age that don't respect the elders in absolutely amazing work that a James Smalls or a Malcolm X or someone of that caliber went through. And the studying, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have this kind of software to keep others in check. So now that we have this going on, now it's time to hold people to the fire to really study and really comprehend what they're professing and propagating out to the people. So everybody, I want you to kind of take this in, because this is the level of education that we're dealing with today. This is what we're dealing with in 2020. You just can't throw something out there and expect us not to critique it, because our forefathers and our elders gave us the ability to do this. And that's why we're always going to honor and respect our elders. We're not going to ever turn our back on them. We're going to add to their work. And this is how we do that. Go ahead, Brother John.
Right on, bro. All right, so that right there, that's the link to the original report. All right, so we can go to the next slide. So the next slide is, what I did was I took what you guys just saw, right, which is clear-cut plagiarism. But what I did was I took it and I went around and I asked different scholars their opinion. So you have Mitchell Balish, PhD, professor of microbiology, University of Miami. And I quote, "As a college professor, this student probably doesn't understand what plagiarism is and thinks this is acceptable. Those long phrases could not be identical to those from the source text without having the source text open and copying directly from it. Aside from the parts that are directly copied, the parts in between are just rephrased. There is no original idea, no synthesis of sources." This is one scholar. Keep going, Consul. I got like, I think 5 different ones. Christopher Patton, professor of Western Washington University, agrees also that this is plagiarism. Just not just T.M. Osiris, it's not just Consul saying it, not Brother Joshua Kane saying it. These are professors. So let's go on to the next one.
Due diligence.
Next guy says, this is such a huge amount of plagiarism. Did they bother to write it? Which is a good question. Why even write it? If you're going to copy and paste to this extent. All right, going to the next one. Again, yes, it's plagiarism. Even the parts in between are considered plagiarism. And we'll talk about that later, of why the parts in between that are not like directly copy and pasted are considered plagiarism also. Taking the same writing and rewording each sentence is still plagiarism. Right? All right, and one more, Consul. And this first line is funny, considering that the author used to be a Hebrew Israelite. It looks like it might be from Black Hebrew Israelite literature or from some other group. He goes on to say, this clearly contravenes some of the explicit criteria used to define plagiarism made available to all students at the beginning of their program. Extensive and or repeated identical or near identical phrasings more than a few words long in total constitute unattributed copying of another author's work. So again, you have the plagiarism software, you have Team Osiris, and you have these these scholars in these universities that does not know the author of Miss Vita from a can of paint, right? Doesn't know who this guy is. All I showed them was the evidence, and they said yes, it's plagiarism. No racism involved, no black and white. It's clear cut plagiarism.
Now, we have some specialists, some professors, some experts, or PhDs, if you will. This is what they've said. What will Asar Imhotep say? That they have comprehension issues, that they don't understand, that they haven't done the work. If God Almighty was to have a discussion with Asar Imhotep, Asar Imhotep will break down to God Almighty, regardless of the name you use to describe him. He will say to God that God was wrong, and he will explain to God how he should have created the world and how he should be running the world, because he had done the studies, he has done the work. And the work of God, the methodology used by God is wrong, and he will tell God what's the proper method. This is what will happen. Have you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can? Asar Imhotep has a similar ability slash, I wouldn't call it skill. He can imitate. So he imitates scholars. If he wanted to imitate a medical doctor, he will do so. So he is using their jargon, their vernacular, and I'm talking about the linguist, but he is not in the field. But in his mind, it's as if he is, because he gives the points and he has no problem going online saying how a doctor in linguistics should do his work. He even had the nerve at one point to talk about character. When you plagiarize, and it's obvious that it's on purpose, it's not a mistake, you cannot mention character regarding anybody else. You're at the game. You're pseudo. You're not taking into consideration, you're not taking into account. Now we have some PhDs on his team. They want to tell people about doing due diligence. Here's what your colleagues say. Let's continue.
Counsel, if you want to add on before we
Yeah, I want to make this abundantly clear. These are experts in the field that are critiquing this particular work. We're just doing investigative work. We are peripheral investigators and we're primary researchers. We're not claiming to be expert linguists, but we do have the ability to assimilate and understand knowledge by understanding the practical means of learning and researching. Excuse me, and understanding the importance of using common knowledge when dealing with complex things. And that requires the proper methodology to research. And so we're researching from a peripheral aspect and we're using primary source, and this is primary source. So we're satisfying what is considered evidence and proof when it comes to scholarship.
Right on. All right. So for everybody listening and watching at home, now this is a screenshot of the suit bidding. This is a paragraph right here. As you can see, this paragraph has no quotation marks. What this is saying to the reader is that the author wrote this himself, and they cited in bolded 2010 at the end of it. So just by reading this, it looks as if the author wrote it himself, right? Based off information from Ebola 2010. All right, if you press the animation one more time, Kansu, you'll see the source material. All right, now if you look at the source material that was translated from French, right, you see that it's damn near identical. It's the same thing. I mean, almost word for word. All right.
Wow,
So
man.
yeah, word for word. All right, now check this out, Sa. We went back to copy leaks. We put in the source material on the left, which is Ebola 2010, and we put in the suit bidding on the right. All right, and this is what we found. Now that's a lot of red right there.
So Asar Imhotep, as if plagiarism in his mother tongue is not enough, he's doing multilingual plagiarism. Man, the guy, he's something.
A little too much. But when you look at it, you see that the author of the suit bidding didn't bother to paraphrase. It was a simple copy and paste and put Ebola 2010 at the end of it. Now, what I heard questions or rebuttals from various people in the conscious community saying that, oh, wait, he put Ebola 2010 at the end of it. Okay. That is called an in-text or in citation. That is saying that the information that you see in this previous sentence or previous paragraph comes from this source. It does not say or does not mean that the words come from this source. It's just saying that the information comes from this source. So why is that important? We can go to the next slide. You'll see why this is important.
Real quick, before you even get to that,
Go ahead.
real quick. I see some of my people, my moderators saying, bring Asar on. I want to let y'all know, family, that Asar was the first one that I called to let him know that I will be bringing on the brothers to have them critique and go in. And I said, I would love for you to be there so you could defend yourself. He chose not to. And he said, brother, it's all right, Sar. You know, they're going to do what they want to do. You know, I'll just sit back and he probably watch it later. But I did invite him, so don't think I didn't invite him. Go ahead, family.
You've heard that? Because he has some loyal groupies. So maybe they would have tried that argument. I don't know if you've seen the movie State Property too, but his groupies are quite loyal. The same mentality as being said, and if you wanted me out, I'll be out. Whatever he says. John Gotti style. Whatever you say, John. Peep game. Him and his fellow homie most of the time you don't see them. They don't want you to see that they are reading from their screen. They don't want you to see that when they are in difficulty, they make phone calls, they send text messages. But I'll leave it there. Let's continue.
Go ahead, brother Joshua.
All right, cool. So when and why to use quotation marks. Now, if you look at the previous slide, you saw a whole entire paragraph that looks like the author wrote it himself. But when you ran it through the plagiarism checker, it was a clear-cut copy and paste, right? So why to use quotation marks? The primary function of quotation marks is to set off and represent the exact language, either spoken or written, that has come from somebody else, right? The quotation mark is also used to designate speech acts in fiction and sometimes poetry. So basically what this is saying, if Sa wrote a book, Kansu wrote a book, right? And I use that as a source, I can't just simply go to their book, their text material, and copy and paste and put Kansu 2009 or Sa Meta 1999 or whatever. I can't do that. I have to put quotation marks around it, right? Because it is you guys' intellectual property. You guys own that work. You sat down and you did the work for hours, days, months, years, and you publish your work. I can't just simply come behind you, doing some lazy scholarship and copy and paste. That's not how it works. So that's why you use quotation marks. And this will get you a lawsuit. But luckily, Mboli is his friend or colleague, so nothing will be done about that. But we can go on to the next one. And then again, what does plagiarism have to do with, what does citation have to do with plagiarism? If you read this right here, this is from plagiarism.org, by the way. For example, if you use a passage and don't quote it, it doesn't matter if you cite the source because you only gave credit for the information and not the words. So it is plagiarism. You can't copy and paste other people's words. All right, Consul, if you want to add on before we move on to the next part.
Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody understands that. When a person writes something, you get credit for your intelligence, not your ability to paraphrase somebody else. This is what makes an author, because that author is coming from their thoughts of what they researched, and they're showing the level of intelligence. This brother that aided me in the research, that did the primary research, has a bachelor's. What is your degree in, brother?
Psychology.
He has a degree in psychology, Sonnet, and he's a single parent. And he was told that he didn't have the aptitude to understand how to study linguistics. This is what he was told when this was brought to the person in the group we're talking about, respectfully. He was told that he didn't have the proper methodology from someone that is not degreed as this brother. So it seems like in the conscious community that when Black men and women go and get trained in understanding and assimilation knowledge, they get shamed for it and get told and disrespected that they don't have the aptitude. But this young Black man has a degree in psychology. How many Black men you know have that? So we're going to continue, man.
Appreciate that, Consul. But all right, we moving on to the next one. We're gonna make this one quick. But this right here is from African Religions Defined: A Systematic Study of Ancestor Worship Among the Akan by Anthony Ephraim Duncore. This is page 73 right here. All right. So what I want people to focus on, you guys probably, well, just press the animation console and they'll see what I want them to focus on. All right, now to the right is the suit bidding. Now press the animation, I think twice. One more time. All right, now you see these two pages side by side. The left, the transformation into an ancestor. On the right, the transformation of a royal into a living ancestor. All right, so what this is, what I saw was an attempt to reword the original, which is on the left. But he didn't do a good enough job rephrasing or paraphrasing is what he's supposed to have done. But again, he did a very sloppy job of doing that, which led to the next slide, Consul. Because we took the source material and we took the suit bidding, ran through plagiarism check one more time. We play the animation and you'll see what the results were. Again, more red. Red, you see right here at the top, red means identical. Pink means minor changes. The orange means related meaning. But you can see for yourself that this is another clear cut copy and paste. All right. So if you want to add on to that, we can.
No, go ahead, John.
All right. So look, check this out. Now this is from probably one of the greatest plagiarists in the conscious community, Dr. York, Dr. Dwight Z. York. I don't know his name, but I know his name is Dr. York. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is from thewapianism.com. You can go to it, thewapianism.com, 360 questions, plagiarism, asking the Wapians about the plagiarizer, dual examples of Dr. York's plagiarism. Go to their website. And it has an example. It's very similar to the examples that we've shown thus far and will show later on throughout this presentation. On the left is The Power of Concentration by, I think, Theron Dumont. You can see the yellow highlighted is a direct copy with Dr. York's The Egyptian Way to Overcome Bad Habits. And the underlined sentences are near identical or an attempt to reword the original. So this is the same thing. If Dr. York is frowned upon for being a plagiarist, and then what exempts the Amara Squad from being plagiarists? It's the same thing. And we'll get into the what's wrong with plagiarism and why it's wrong and why do people do it. But Consul, if you want to add on before we move on.
No, brother, go right ahead. Because we got quite a bit to cover, so go right ahead, bro.
Yeah. All right. This is another example. You got the Suit Biddy, page 118. It talks about the Shilluk of the Sudan and their oral traditions. From the looks of it, looks like the author again wrote it himself. But if you press the animation, you got to keep pressing it too, Consul. If you look at the animation, you see where it came from. And what I did with this is I went to Google and I typed in some passages. So I typed in, let me see, the Duwak, their homeland was the end or the foot of the earth or the head, and near the Great Lakes of Central Africa. I typed that in, and this is what came up on Google. African Worlds, page 145 to 146. All right, and going to the next one. So if you need, everybody watching at home, if you need an example of what paraphrasing is, how to avoid plagiarism, these are very good videos that I recommend you go watch. Just don't take my word for it, because I know what plagiarism is. I know what paraphrase is. I know what research is. But I can't see the chat right now. I guarantee you there's somebody saying, well, it's not plagiarism, or he cited this or whatnot. I can't see the chat right now, but I guarantee you there's somebody that needs to watch these two videos right here. Now, here's the interactive part of the presentation. If you want to interact at home, you know what I'm saying, you can. Whatever, doesn't matter. But if you are watching at home and you want to interact a little bit, type this into Google. Type in, as the story goes, Ilunga Mbili left his kingdom, which is generally believed to be east of Lake Tanganyika. Type that in, or you can type in, today he is claimed as an ancestor and civilizing hero by different kingdoms and chiefdoms by both Kasai provinces and Katanga province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. It don't matter, just type something in on this page. And this is what'll come up. Is it a book? Is it an encyclopedia? Nah, it's Wikipedia. Which is a free encyclopedia. Yeah, Wiki. Yep. Somebody out there paid $30-something for a book with Wikipedia pages in it. Like straight up copy and paste. Now, again, we took this Wikipedia page, Ilunga Mbili, put it in copy leaks, and we put in the suit video beside it, ran through the copy leaks. This is what we found. Even though we don't need copy leaks for that, we can clearly see that that's a clear cut, like more copy and paste. But you press the animation console, yeah. I mean, there it is again, like more red, red everywhere. I mean, that's more copy and paste. And press it again so they can see one more time. All right, yeah, there we go. I mean, there's nothing else to say. Like, I mean, it's copy and paste. All right, so now there's more evidence or more examples of plagiarism from Wiki, but what I did was just to make sure I'm not tripping, make sure that CopyLeaks is not tripping, make sure Consul's not tripping. What I did was I put what I found in an email and I sent it to some administrators on Wikipedia, right? I
Hold on
wanted
one
their
second
feedback.
right there. Did you
I
hear
go
that,
ahead.
Saul? We went to the administrators of Wikipedia. This is how you vet information. We went to the primary source. This ain't just no gossip. Every time somebody go on the Wikipedia, these are the people you reach out to. Go
So, Asar Imhotep is doing plagiarism, multilingual plagiarism, and Wikipedia plagiarism. Plagiarizing from books is not enough. It's going to plagiarize from Wikipedia pages. Interesting.
ahead, Brother John.
Yeah. Yeah. So we went to the administrators of Wikipedia and asked them their opinion. Not my opinion, not Consul's opinion, not Team Osiris's opinion. I just wanted, to see, am I, like I said, am I tripping or what? But this is what we found. Well, this is what they said. All right, they said, thanks. Well, dear Joshua Kane, thanks for emailing us. I did a quick check and confirmed that the content in his book existed on Wikipedia prior to the book being published. So he is definitely the person at fault here. The Wikimedia Foundation does not actively take legal action against people who use content on Wikimedia projects without adhering to the license. It is the right of the people who hold the copyright. In this case, the people who created the content he copied to take action if they want to. As that is doubtful, probably the only possibility of repercussion arising from these copyright violations is to publicize it and contact whatever academic institution he is associated with, if he is. Yours sincerely, Chris Gates. All right. So wow, that's Wikipedia saying, yeah, your boy is tripping.
So, as that is doubtful, probably the only possibility of repercussions arising from these corporate violations is to publicize it and contact whatever academic institution he's associated with, if he is. He is associated with some team. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be nice. But there's many different kind of structures, organizations, institute. There's so many actually. But one of them have PhDs, you know. So, like I said before, clean house first before you want to tell people what they should or should not do. When you want to talk about due diligence, if you didn't know, now you know what you're going to do about it. What are you going to do about it? So we have some Twitter finger moderators who also act, a bit high and mighty, who um, dismiss and disrespect anybody that disagree with their guru. You are guilty by association. You know he's been plagiarizing. You're cool with that. And you have the nerve to be condescending about other brothers and sisters and disrespect them just because they don't agree with the fanciful claims of your guru. Then we have PhDs who should know about plagiarism and how bad it is, who should know about method, who should know about rigor, about character. They don't have a problem with it. Actually, they they travel together to different places and make conferences, so that is the reward for plagiarism. And then you wonder why some people don't take us seriously. Have you ever seen some European or Asian or Oriental known plagiarizer, serial plagiarizer, who's plagiarizing from different books in his own language, in his own mother tongue, books from other in other language, and also from Wikipedia, and then they go together and make conferences to teach the people, and at the same time, the dude will go on and say that Diop is wrong, Dr. Obadele Combo is wrong, Diop didn't do the work, Obenga didn't do the work, Rikeri Amin is wrong. Oh my, I'll leave it there. Let's continue.
That's Wikipedia saying that. Now, Wikipedia is a free encyclopedia online, right? You can use Wikipedia, but you at least have to cite it. You can't just copy and paste whole pages from Wikipedia, put it in the book, put a price tag on it, and put it in the market. Can't do that. But yeah, that's Wikipedia right there. So Consul, why would people plagiarize? Why? Sa, anybody can answer that if you want to. Like, why would somebody plagiarize?
Well, I would say you plagiarizing for notoriety or you plagiarizing for money. Those are those are the first things I would think of.
Yeah. And the number one reason, what I'm saying, drawing off this graphic right here, is they are lazy. The first one says they are bone idols, meaning that they're lazy because writing writing a book is hard work. Hell, writing an article takes a lot of time, especially if you want to submit it to a journal or whatnot. Like anyone that's ever went to college understands how hard it is to write and use information in your own words. That's hard. Imagine writing a 300-page paper or book, or a 600-page book. So the main reason why people plagiarize is because it's too much work. I'd rather just copy and paste it and just turn it in, or publish it and get it over with. It's much easier than to do the work yourself. Just like steroids, like a performance enhancer drug in sports. It's a way to cut corners. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's number one. Number two, like you said, Kansu, they want to attain fame, notoriety. What's the yeah, I think those three are the main ones: money, fame, notoriety, and being lazy. You know what I'm saying? We can go on to the next one. All right. So, hey, you know what? Some people probably in the chat again saying that plagiarism is not a big deal. Not a big deal. He just he copy and pasted some couple of sentences here and there. You know what I'm saying? A couple of paragraphs. No big deal. But in academia, the place where these guys claim that they participate or interact with academia, right? It's a no-no. Get you a lawsuit, get you fired, suspended, excommunicated, all type of stuff. Right here is a book, The Tropical Dry Deciduous Forest, Research Trends and Emerging Features. Now, this book was on the market on Springer, I think, .com for sale. Somebody that was reading it, like Team Osiris, they found some overlap, right, or plagiarism within this text. So what they did was they contacted the publisher, which is Springer, and said, hey, this page seems to be plagiarized. So Springer investigated this book a little further, and they found that yes, it was plagiarized, and they took the book off the market because of that. Now, is that saying the whole book was plagiarized? No, no. What they're saying is that this author or these author, J.S. Singh, and I can't pronounce the last name, but whoever they are, they plagiarized some passages, and they are going to be held accountable for that. So they took it off the market. Next example, Michigan State University museum director suspended following a plagiarism and research misconduct probe. I think this guy was using his colleagues' work and not giving the proper credit. The guy on the right is an Arizona State University professor, placed on leave. I think he eventually got fired. This brother was making, I think, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and he got caught not once, not twice, but 3 times plagiarizing. Right, and then I think the third time he got caught plagiarizing some presentation from a police department or something like that. Anyway, needless to say, that plagiarism is very serious. So, all right, so we can go on to the next one. Counsel. All right, so now this is the brand new book that just came out in 2020. So we just did the suit biddy. Some examples of the suit biddy came out in 2016. Now we're doing Illusion Volume 2. It just came out in January of this year. All right, so let's just press the animation. Again, I don't know if you guys can see that, but just keep pressing the animation constantly. All right, so it's an article titled "Middle to Late Holocene Paleoclimatic Change." Blah blah blah. That's the name of the article that he's discussing right here on this page. Press the animation, bro. All right, so what I did was I took the parts that were copy and pasted or semi copy and pasted and just color coded it for you for the people at home to see that yeah, he did it again in January 2020. Brand new book, 600 pages, right? All right. You just keep on pressing the animation. More plagiarism. Just keep on going, Council. All right. So this article, right? This guy is named Cohen Boston, right? So again, with Team Osiris, when we say something, they just hating. They don't know what they're talking about. They're not linguists. Blah blah blah. So what I did was I took this page right here from Illusion Volume 2, and I sent it to the person that he cited right here, Cohen Boston. Right? I took this one page and showed him this page. I was like, "Yo, check this out. Now this is your article, and this guy wrote something pertaining to your article and tried to build his argument for these languages or whatnot, African migration patterns, and blah, blah, blah." All right. So he emailed me back. And this is what he said. Now this is Professor Cohen Boston. This is the guy. He said, "Dear Josh, thanks for signaling this. Judging by the contents of the pages that you forwarded, this seems to be quite crappy stuff, more generally. Best regards, Cohen." So this is what he's saying. Now, this guy here has a PhD in linguistics. He's written over he's written well over 20 or 30 papers and books, conferences about Bantu languages. And this is what he had to say. This is not Team Osiris. This is not counsel. This is not Joshua Kane saying this. This is one of the experts in the field. So this is what happens when these guys that claim that they're experts in the conscious community, when they step outside of the conscious community, this is what happens.
You heard that? It's not over. When they step outside of the conscious community, this is what happens. Now, The PhD didn't say it's poor. He said it's crappy stuff. Man. But this is the guy who's going to tell PhDs how to do the work. Amusing.
This is what happens right here. So you can play these games with people, you know, in the conscious community that don't know any better. But once you travel outside of that, right, and step into real academia where they really do work and write books and articles, this is what happens. These are their opinions about your work. But okay, all right. So back to the suit video. Press the animation console. And not only does he plagiarize other people, right? I don't know if you guys can see that at home. But I'll read the first sentence. This framework is not limited to African languages. J.P. Mallory and D.Q. Adams, in their work, The Oxford Introduction to Proto-Indo-European and the Proto-Indo-European Words, 2006, operate within the same paradigm for Indo-European languages. All right, that's from 2016. The suit video. All right, press the animation console. All right, J.P. Mallory and D.Q. Adams, in their work, The Oxford Introduction to Proto-Indo-European and the Proto-Indo-European Words, 2006, operate within this paradigm for Indo-European languages, right? Now, either it's an echo in here, I just read the same exact thing. if you keep on reading these two pages, you'll see it's damn near the same thing. It is the same thing. So what gives? Did it come from Wikipedia? Did it come from, I don't know, did it come from J.P. Mallory and D.Q. Adams? I don't know. Let's press the animation and see where it came from. All right. Illusion Volume 2. Illusion Volume 2 just came out in January 2020, right? The suit video came out in 2016. So basically what we have here is a case of what we call in battle rap or rap in general is recycling bars. Using the same pages, same paragraphs over and over. You stuff up a book with some stuff you already wrote, you know what I'm saying? Don't indicate to the reader that, hey, I'm reusing this over and over. And boom, you got a 600-page book, $45 on the market. You know what I'm saying? So, Counsel, I know you want to speak on that, I believe.
Yeah, I definitely do, man. When you look at the context of a 600-page book, I don't think that's it will take a person years to write a 600-page book. And the art of writing, book writing, is marketing. You have to typeset the book properly. That means you need an editor. That editor has to select the type of font and typesetting and how you're going to block the book in order to get the proper pages of the book. So this is, and if you look at the format of the page, if you look at the way the paragraphs are separated, and you look at the one on the right, and you look at the one on the left, clearly you see extra spacing in order to create extra pages. Now, when a book has extra pages, it warrants an extra price. And this is intentional, and you have to know that when you're dealing in the art of marketing books. It's the same way of marketing anything else. So when these things are done, it's done without the tutelage of a proper editor and publishing company that would have warned against that. Because this kind of work should not have produced 600 pages of work. The topic and the subject matter does not warrant 600 pages of work. That's almost the size of the Holy Bible. It doesn't require 600 pages to elaborate on this information. Go ahead, Brother Joshua.
Man, that's wonderfully put. Like, again, like if you're trying to support like a local rapper or something like that, and you buy his mixtape, you go home, you play his mixtape, and you start listening to the lyrics, and you hear this verse, and you know, something hits you, and you're like, I heard this verse somewhere. Like, where did I hear this before? And you go back to his older mixtapes, and you realize that he's recycling bars. You will be pissed off because you just gave this guy, you cash app him $7, I don't know, $12, whatever, you know what I'm saying, for some lyrics, and he's reusing bars. It's a problem in rap. It's a problem in writing books. It's a problem in academia. You know what I'm saying? So that further illustrates the point that we're trying to drive home. That like a 600-page book takes time, takes a lot of work, and I guess to shortcut that, to circumnavigate that, what you do is just copy and paste books from your old, pages from your older works. But all right, so the next one, I think we can, recycling, the recycling symbol. All right, yo, Consul, we can skip the next one.
All right, and guys, this is a very long presentation. We're going to try to condense it for the sake of Sarnetta's platform and his valuable time. So some things we're going to slide through, but we want you to get the overall understanding of what we're talking about. We do have the presentation in its entirety on Team Osiris on YouTube, but HOK being family, we are bringing this for Sarnetta and the community so they understand what we're doing. So if you see us skip through some things, it's just for the out of respect of time.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we can skip this one because this is on our old presentation. Well,
you want me to keep going, Josh? Should we
yeah,
keep
going?
Yeah,
keep going. Yeah, we can skip that one. All right. Again, all right. Now here's more interactive. All right, go back one.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. Here's more interactive slides for the audience. So if you're at home, you're by a computer, you're able to type in Google. Just type in at the age of 30, Orfilas, I think I'm pronouncing that right, was supposedly sent on an embassy to the Roman emperor. All right, just type that in Google, and see what comes up. I mean, Consul, you already showed it, but just go ahead and it comes from the Britannica, the Britannica Online Encyclopedia. Straight copy and paste. Matter of fact, that page mostly comes from the Britannica Online.
And what book is that to the left, Brother Joshua? Because we skipped some things. So what book is that you're talking about on the left?
Yo, can y'all see me at home? Hold on, let me see. Can they see me?
Yeah.
This is the book right here, Aluja, Volume 1, 2013.
So now I want to make this abundantly clear. We bought the book, son. So we're not just hating. Some money went into the pocket of the person that wrote this book. So it's still respect and honor because we're giving you money. But we're scholars. We read books. That's what we do. Go ahead, Brother Josh.
Now let me ask you, Brother Josh. Brother Josh, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, brother. How do you find what book it came out of? You were saying earlier that you put the thing into the you put, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The plagiarism checker. Now that's plagiarism software. Now the easiest way that professors or anybody that's reading a book, if they see something that's a little questionable, what they do is they go to Google. Google is a tremendous search engine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can type in Sarnetta in Google and it'll be thousands of pages of stuff, dealing with Sarnetta.
Right.
So if I type in at the age of 30, right here, that's on the screen, Ufalas was supposedly sent on the embassy of the Roman Empire, or emperor or whatever. If you type that in and you get a hit, it'll show you where it came from. And what I did was I put it side by side with this page from I think it's page, I forgot the name of the page, or number of the page. But if you put it side by side, again, you'll see that it comes directly from the Britannica Online. Now this is not his information. It doesn't say, hey, I got this from the Britannica, but this is how professionals, not even professionals, even lay people can understand this. And you go to Google and type in a sentence or a phrase, Google's going to find that phrase. You know what I'm saying? If the information is online, and a lot of information is online right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to find PDFs, articles, websites, even PowerPoints that have been uploaded online. So you can't get around that.
So Asar Imhotep, who attempts to tell PhDs how to do the work, is plagiarizing in English, in other languages, from Wikipedia, from Britannica. He's plagiarizing out of control, man. I mean, that's his expertise. Cultural theorist with an expertise in plagiarism. Software developer, professional plagiarist or plagiarizer. Let's continue.
So you would have to prove that you published this before the Britannica Encyclopedia. If you can't prove that, that means that it came from the Britannica, which it did.
Brother
You know what I'm saying?
My brother Sa, I want to read a
yes, go ahead, Kansu.
When you are at the collegiate level, some of us, like myself, I was trained in oratory skill. You think how you speak and you write how you speak, if that makes sense. Because the brain works as a muscle. It is a involuntary response. So the way that you think and talk will transcend in the way that you write. Now, if you listen to the author and the way that they talk and have dialogue, and then you look at their book, and it says, at the age of 30, Ulfilas was supposedly sent on an embassy to the Roman emperor. If you know the oratory pattern of the person you're listening to, that's why at the college level, not only do you do classwork and research work, you have days that are required that you lecture, because the professor wants to critique your comprehension level. And all along, people can talk but not write the same. And when those words don't correlate to what you spoke, that's a red flag for plagiarism. And it takes a little skill to be able to pick up on it. But again, the underestimation of the intelligent Black man in the conscious community. You think you're getting away with something. No, you're not. No, you're not, son. It's not that easy.
Piece to the panel. That's constantly, that's called tone. When you write in the manner that you speak, that's called your writing tone. And so that's something that you learn easily in college. And a lot of times, if your tone is off, if they know that you don't speak in the same manner that, if you don't write in the same manner that you speak, it's like you said, it's automatically a red flag, because they're wondering, where did you get this from? This isn't normally how you would paraphrase. So where did you get this from?
And our brother Sa, this is our brother Melvin Jefferson. You can introduce yourself, Melvin. It's another part of our research team, brother Sa.
Right. Yeah, I seen when he came in. All right, brother Joshua, can continue, brother.
All right, yo, we got 3 more, Consul, Sa, and we done. All right. This is another page, 233 of Illusion Volume 1. Cellular respiration is a set of metabolic reactions and process that take place in the cells. I can't see that because it's blurry. But all right, you get the drift. What you do is you take that, or go back real quick. You take that and you put that in a search engine site. You see that page, that sentence? Matter of fact, you can take almost any sentence on this page and type it in Google, it'll come up to Wikipedia. Basically, this information on this page that somebody paid $30 for comes from Wikipedia. So you're paying $30 for Wikipedia information. Straight from Wikipedia. No variations, no attempt to even put it in your own words, just straight up Wikipedia. And we're going to the next one, Council. All right, people at home, type in directionality of certain sound changes is a valuable clue for reconstruction. That's for everybody listening. If you want to type it in, go ahead. I'll give you a little time to type it in. Go ahead and press the animation console. If you type this in correctly, this is what came up. Lyle Campbell, Historical Linguistics, Introduction. And press the animation one more time. And you see at the bottom, that last paragraph, you'll see exactly where that came from. And then now this is Google search. Those highlighted sections come strictly from Google Books. So when I typed that in, I got a hit on Google, and they showed me where it came from. And I clicked on the book, and this is where it came from. And you see the source, and damn near the whole paragraph is a copy and paste. And I think we got go to the next one. I think we can skip that one. We can skip that one. I want to skip it. All right.
Something I want to add real quickly, Sadnetta. Um, the main reason why a lot of this is easily detectable by us is because a lot of the sources where we find that plagiarism was done from, we actually have these books in our own libraries. So when we see a phrase that sounds familiar, we'll go look up the source, and then we actually see, oh, I got this on my shelf. Let me go pull this off and read through it and find the actual source. So a lot of these books where the plagiarism is done from, we actually have them. So that's what makes it even worse, is that when you find out that you purchased a book that copied this material from another book that you already have, and so it just makes so much sense.
Got you.
Okay, go ahead, Josh.
All
Thank you,
right,
Mel.
this is now this one was I just do this out there because I thought it was a little funny. But go ahead and press the animation console.
Y'all get ready because we're gonna open up the phone line for questions. If y'all have questions, write your questions down.
All right. All right. This last sentence. Again, everybody watching at home, type this in. Language is the oldest living witness to history. It sounds simple, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like much. Just type it in. Now, Consul, what's up? Check this out. Look where this came from. That's that one little sentence. Now, it might not seem like much, but that's where that one little sentence came from. I play the animation, Consul. That's where he got it from. And if you really want to be technical, he got the previous sentence, language is the carrier of culture. He got that from Ujawu also. So I guarantee you it's probably more plagiarism in between these two guys right here together collectively. But I'm not reading I'm not reading all of that trying to discover it. But that's what they
Now, for the record, they have also a video going through the plagiarism of Fujao. I will first share the link. So, Simon Cyrus, Fujao the plagiarizer, question marks. The link is shared in the chat. And the video was actually uploaded August 16, 2016. So now I'm ready to have some interaction with the people in attendance. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, if you have any statement, then feel free. You can use the chat, or you can use the link to call in or get on the panel. The only requirement is that you show your face. If for whatever reason you don't want to show your face, you can just participate in the chat. So let's see what people have to say with this. If you didn't know, now you know. You've heard that there could have been more. I did not find a video that they referred to that they said on their channel. There's a longer video where they go through more plagiarism from Asar him or fake. So, what is your take on this? What do you think about that? Is it cool? Does it fly? Is it okay? Is it the right method? Because apparently PhDs don't have the right method, but it seems that Assign him or fake has a right plagiarism method. Is plagiarism cool? Is it accepted? Is it a display of character? Is it a display of integrity? Is it part of scholarship? Or is it only accepted amongst Pan African scholarship? Do we have scholarship per se? And on the other hand, Pan African scholarship, where people say, well, you know what I'm saying? Don't do the dirty laundry in public. Keep it on the low. Let him plagiarize. He's a brother. I support him. What is your stay? What is your stance? What is your mindset? Is it a good look? Is this a good look? Was it a good look? Then, is it a good look now? Will it be a good look later on? Nothing? Nothing to say? Are you all intimidated? Are you all afraid that maybe some critique will be made against you by some great wannabe linguists? Or will it be some school fraternity that might pull up on you? Or would it be some PhDs that might pull up on you? Or would it be the Twitter finger groupie moderators that might pull up on you? Do you accept this, brothers and sisters? Is that cool? Does that fly? Or do we only have his groupies in attendance? RP wrote no, that should be called out. And it was called out 2 years ago on Senator's platform. I don't know how long it was on Team Osiris' platform. And I'm lucky the video is still there. Because when I made my video entitled University of Amen, I alluded to that. And I said that I couldn't show and prove because I didn't have the video anymore. I didn't know where to find the video. But I have substantiated what I was saying. So now there's no more excuse. The I didn't know excuse will not fly anymore. Is this scholarship? Is this character? Is this method? Is that integrity? But this is coming from the guy who will say that all those PhDs are wrong. Dr. Shekan Diop, Dr. Theophilo Benga, Dr. James P. Allen, Dr. Rekadi Amen, and the list goes on. Urai bin Yarub wrote, agreed. It's the first time that I see the Ain transliterated with the letter U. As a matter of fact, the other ayin is transliterated with the letter A. May I ask where you are from? Min aina anta? Did I say it right? Or should I say, was the word order correct? And by the way, brothers and sisters, for those who don't know, no matter what title you see, well, feel free to talk about anything. Something that I might have said 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, something that somebody else said. You can always consider it as free talk and questions and answers as well. I'm not tripping. Take this opportunity because I'm live streaming a little bit more than usual, and it's been like that for the last few days, but it will not be like that on a consistent basis. So really take advantage. If you have some questions and comments, if some of you want to learn the meta nature, remember that I'm giving classes, so we can talk about the meta nature, we can talk about religion, we can talk about history, we can talk about current events, we can talk about Alex Jones ordered to pay $50 million. But I'm going to talk some more about Alex Jones and the way he was balling out of control. That will be my next live stream. Not today, though. So, as usual, when the participation reduces, then I can call it a day. Now we have I'm learning to, who wrote, in my opinion, plagiarism is unacceptable. It is also akin to self centeredness. I came in late, so I will watch from the start after your feed is over. No problem at all. Problem at all. Well, really, we know that nobody's gonna come up and say, "Well, plagiarism is cool." That's obvious. But maybe some people will come and try to come up with some defense and try to say, "Well, sometimes in life, you know, oh, we have the usual guy who comes in and criticizing me." So I'm gonna do what I normally do, but this time I'm gonna put this comment on. I'm not gonna read this comment all the time. Just gonna do the usual. But if you feel like you are man enough, then show your face and come holler. Now RP wrote, I agree, it's self-centered attention seeking, very puerile and careless, a bit arrogant as well. And I'm learning to wrote understood. Oh, my battery level is low. Now for the record, the person that came to talk smack about me, I did not put his comment on. Okay, so just to make sure there's no misunderstanding. You know, even his username, I don't want to read it because it's not really a nice username. But yeah, so his comment doesn't appear in the chat now. I've deleted his comment. I'm gonna get my charger because I might have I have actually like 5 minutes left before my computer dies on me. So I'll be right back. Is there a video that I can play for a few minutes? Mm, not really for a few minutes, so I'll just do that. As a matter of fact, I can leave the sound. Gonna get my charger, and I'll be right back with you. There's a particular dynamic because we're not just dealing with plagiarism, indeed, but like it was said, people paid for the material used, not used, but people paid for the material that is a result of plagiarism. So some people make a living out of being dishonest. And they're going to talk about my art. Don't be shy, brothers and sisters. Let's have some conversation. Let's have some interaction. Is there anything that I've said that you disagree with? You don't have many channels where people tell you that, where they tell you feel free. The calls are not screened. I don't screen the calls. So anybody can get on the panel as long as they are okay to show their face. It's the only requirement. I don't know who can come. I don't know what they will say. It's not scripted. I'm not reading different texts when I engage people, unless, of course, I'm quoting. You don't have many channels where they will tell you any calls are welcome. Even if you disagree, feel free. I'm learning to wrote. Yes, give credit where credit is due. I appreciate your contributions. Learning is fun to the mental and never boring. Oh, you did have a chance to see that message then. And I feel the same way. Now, brothers and sisters, remember, if you want to make a financial contribution or donation, you have the PayPal, paypal.me/my art forever. You also have the Cash App. Senate RP will have to leave. See you later, Shaka. I got to go exercise now. Peace, everyone. Thank you for being there, and catch up. Catch up with you some other time. Well, I'll wait a few more minutes, and then I guess it's gonna be like less than 2 hours, which is reasonable. We are at 1 hour 50 minutes so far for this live stream. It looks like some people have some explaining to do. It looks like some people are in trouble now. It's hard to get out of this. We will have a linguistic explanation on how to get away from plagiarism. And all this plagiarism is coming from people who will label other pseudos, who will say that they lack discipline, that they lack understanding, that they have comprehension issue, that they should be quiet and go and read and go and study. Man, okay, fine. 1 hour 53 minutes. You don't need to be so shy, but if you are, it is what it is. Um, I'm learning to write. Can a publisher be sued for the sale of plagiarized content? I don't know the specifics. I would expect that the author will be sued, but it's possible that the publisher will be sued. And at the end of the day, you can't sue anyone, but will you win the court case? You know. But then again, I understand the question because it's possible that in some cases you cannot actually sue someone or some organization or some entity or some party. The court or the judge might just tell you, no, it's not possible, it will not go through. So I really don't know the specifics, but I think people will sue. Um, if the book that plagiarized will sell many copies, I think it would be a waste of money and waste of time for anyone to plagiarize something that, I don't know, it's up to them. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more. I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first meta lecture class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other meta lecture lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the meta lecture, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the meta lecture, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medunetia classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medunetia class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.